The news media is incredibly pissed off at one of the Super Bowl ads. They're so disappointed in this new rendition of Dolly Parton's classic song 9 to 5. If you didn't get a chance to see the ad, let me break down for you just what happens. In this little music video, we see a bunch of people in an office who look down in the dumps. They're just working away and watching the clock, waiting for their 9 to 5 to be over. Then 5 o'clock hits, and they all start on what you might call their side hustles. One lady launches her fitness dance class website, while another creates a website for a hedge trimming business. There's another man who creates a marketplace for all his art that he wants to sell, and so on and so on. The ad is played to this new song called 5 to 9. The implication being that after you work your 9 to 5 day job, you can work 4 more hours from 5 to 9 and grow the business that you are passionate about. And the ad shows that Squarespace makes it easier to build your business. Pretty straightforward message, right? You work hard, you start a business, this website building company can help you, and it makes things easier. Well, some of these journalists and opinion writers lost their minds when they saw this ad. Based on their response, you would think that they just finished watching an ad for some kind of forced labor, slavery dystopia where people have no other choice but to work all day long with nary a single moment to be happy. But let's take a look at some of their responses. For instance, NewStatesman.com says, "With deep regret, I must inform you that Dolly Parton has joined the ranks of girl bosses. 41 years after releasing 9 to 5, the irresistibly catchy workers' rights anthem that has since united commuters, road trippers, tentative early comers to wedding dance floors and hardcore Marxists, Parton has reworked it into an advertising jingle for a website building company called Squarespace. And this was as part of their 2021 Super Bowl ad. How could such a fundamentally left-wing song be used as corporate marketing fodder? I hear you cry, with simple swapsies, of course." 5 to 9, the updated version of the song, no longer bemoans that work is all taken and no given, where an oppressive boss will use your mind and never give you credit. Instead, it's a go-getting ode to the side hustle, celebrating those who use their precious after-work hours to start that business they've always dreamed of owning. You can promote it with Squarespace, you see, whose services are being flogged to you in a type of uber-capitalist, pay us so you can do more work way. The thing is, though, you do still have that 9 to 5 as well, because presumably you don't have a trust fund. So the dream business has got to wait to be worked on in the other 16 hours of the day. And it really does mean 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. because it's hustling time. Whole new way to make a living, sings Parton encouragingly. Firstly, because life and the original song is not about turning everything you love into a way of making money. The song 9 to 5 balks at the idea that we should have to spend so much of our daily life working, just to have the basics we need to live. It asks us to imagine a better life than that one that revolves around less, not more work. Contrary to popular belief, our jobs do not have the fabric of our identity. They can just be jobs, nor do our passions have to generate an income. We're allowed to just enjoy them. The average British person spends 85,000 hours at work over the course of their lifetime, so your job does need to avoid being dehumanizing, depressing, or exhausting. But the answer to an unsatisfying day job is not a 24-hour workday. In the 5 to 9 Squarespace ad, an implausibly fresh-faced woman goes from being slumped at her actually quite nice and spacious-looking desk to gyrating through her office. Her life passion is dance fitness. You see, as soon as the clock strikes 5, but we can only assume this is the very first day that she has worked both 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. because this lifestyle is not sustainable. Far from being energized and boosted by going straight from your 9 to 5, working on your side hustle website. It's more likely you would suffer stress headaches, tech snack, and malnutrition from only ever eating sandwiches from the bread. The advert takes place in a bizarre fantasy land. Workers' cubicles transform into mini studios for their dream jobs, yada yada yada. Go on to say, in the real world, it's workers already working multiple jobs, long hours, night shifts, which typically do not involve glowy skin and matching yoga outfits, who feel the sentiment of the original 9 to 5. Nothing says gig economy like it's a rich man's game, no matter what they call it. and you spend your life putting money in his wallet. So that's not all. Even with just this article, you also had the New York Times and Slate put out a similar article. One is the working woman's anthem 9 to 5 needed an update. This? And the other, titled Dolly Parton let the gig economy steal one of her most classic songs, A Spot for Squarespace, directed by La La Land's Damien Chazelle. It reimagines 9 to 5 with terrible results. Okay, this ad really got under some people's skin, obviously. But is there anything wrong with what's being advertised here, really? First, I think we need to address the use of the term side hustle or side gig. There's a difference between doing something on the side for a bit of extra cash and putting work into building your own business in your free time. The latter seems to be what's being advertised here. And this is an important distinction because if these people had to work those extra hours just to get by with the bare necessities for life, that would be different. That would be rough. Maybe I could understand some complaints. But that is not what this commercial indicates. This ad showcases the businesses that these people are passionate about. It's about working hard to achieve something better. Ultimately, if the people in these scenarios did work hard, they could turn those side hustles that are referred to here into full-time businesses. And that would be a dream come true for a lot of people. You do what you love for a full-time job and you're your own boss. That sounds great. But these articles seem to criticize the idea of hard work. The authors are appalled that anyone would dare have to work more than that 40 hours a week. There seems to be this pervasive idea in our culture that things should just be given as a handout to anyone and everyone, and that we are all owed something. And I hate to ruin anyone's day here, really, but the world cannot function that way for very long. People that become extremely successful have worked their butts off to get where they are. Just read some of the biographies or books about people who've achieved high success in this country. Listen to all of the troubles and difficulties that they faced along. They put in some seriously hard work to get where they are. And there seems to be this idea going around that every rich and successful person out there inherited all that they have, and that they don't really do anything to earn what they've got. But all the evidence that's out there really points to the contrary. This idea is being pushed in our culture that your dream job or career should just be given to you, that there's no need to earn anything, you are owed everything. And it's simply ridiculous. If no one worked to accomplish or achieve anything, what state would our world be in? We're becoming prideful and lazy. We think that we are owed something for simply occupying space in the world, and that we shouldn't have to work to achieve what we want. Now, this leads me to another area I want to discuss that kind of goes along with it. So, diverting from the Super Bowl ad here, let's talk about this issue of forgiving student loans, because recently, Chuck Schumer brought up trying to, get Biden to forgive $50,000 in student debt for each student who borrowed money for school. They want to cancel about 80% of the total debt, which means that when you count the 36 million students that owe that much, it comes out to about $1,440 billion. That's a lot. Let's be real here for a second. How stupid is this idea? I get it. If you're a college student that owes money and these officials are promising to make it disappear, most of you are probably going to want to take it. However, let's really look at what's going on here. These students were not forced to take on loans and go to college. And you might have a few arguments to the contrary and say, well, they had to go to college because it was the only way they could get a job, only way they could make a living. But the answer to that would be wrong. There are plenty of ways for people to make money in this country that don't require a degree. In fact, there are many professions which you could make over 6 figures if you hone your skills and you put in the work and you put in the time. It's not as complicated as you might think. It just requires a bit of research and the desire to work hard. There are even some jobs that people think require a degree, but you don't have to have a degree to get into the field. Second, let's say you do need to go to college for your, as in there's absolutely no way on earth you could learn the skills required for the job you want. There are ways to do that without being forced to take on a humongous loan. Many people have paid their way through college by working through their teens, taking time after college to earn money, and working while in college. Additionally, you do not have to go to the most expensive school on the planet, especially for every class you take. And third, it is not the place nor the job of the American government to forgive these loans. That is the American taxpayers' money. Any forgiveness that is given is going to come at the cost of other Americans. And I might add that many of these Americans took one of the routes previously mentioned. It's not their fault that someone else was either too lazy or too stupid to take an alternate path and build up $50,000 worth of debt. I honestly don't know how else to put it to make it clear how evil this concept is. This kind of mentality is really starting to piss me off. And this idea that is being put forth in a way that frames these college students or workers who made poor choices as victims. And maybe, in some ways, they are. Maybe they're victims of laziness or pride or naivety, but not victims of their fellow Americans. So don't screw over Peter the plumber, who worked hard for 20 years and finally started his own company and is now making about $100K a year just because you wanted to go to a university, hang out for 4 years, shell out 30 grand a semester with money that you borrowed. So if after going through all of this, you still think that you are owed something, and it's still everyone else's job to take care of you, I think we're at an impasse. It doesn't look like the United States is for you. Maybe read the Constitution, and if it doesn't suit your fancy, check out some of the systems that these other countries have. See if you like what they have in place. You might just find one to your liking. Who knows? Maybe there's a place out there where everyone caters to you and caters to your needs because you are just the most important little thing in the world, and you can be waited on hand and foot. Let me know if you find a place like that. I'll send you a postcard from back here in reality. But that's all for now. We'll see you next time.